brought up the word from our little conversation just now. What do we mean by mindfulness? What is that?
Being aware of the other, being sensitive to the reactions one can create or one is creating.
It's interesting, isn't it, that the other. What's that? What are we saying of the other? What is the other?
Well, person, the machine, the system. I use other as...
Other than what?
Oneself.
So if you're not aware of yourself, and you're only aware of the other, say, got your eye on something else, see, you can trip up, fall over, drop something, bang your head, if it's in a physical way, you see, and lose your orientation in that moment, you see. Get sucked into something. See, you can be very focused on the other, whatever that other is, get sucked into it, get lost in it. Because, of course, if we're only aware of the other, then we're not aware of our own reaction. So we've only got half the picture. See? So we can see that doesn't work. That's obviously not mindful because there's something left out of it. Of course, a lot of people are very focused on what's out there, the other, whatever that might be, but they've got no awareness of themselves. So they don't learn. See, they're not, like you say, they're not adjusting things. They're not seeing what they're doing. See, the focus is out there. And of course, out of that comes blame, recrimination, all that kind of stuff. You see, comes out of that when we're not aware of ourselves, when we're only aware of the other. We're not can't see what we're doing or how we're doing it. A lot of people live like that. They have no awareness of what's going on inside them at all, really. Their whole focus is out there in the world. Okay, that's their orientation. So if you ask them if you start to sort of ask questions about what goes on inside them, it's almost like it's a territory they've never kind of really entered into, never explored. So we can see that there's only half of the picture there. The other way round, if we're only aware of ourselves, or we're dreaming, or we're caught up with a feeling, and then we're not aware of the other person, you see, and their response, how it's affecting them. And there's a lot of this goes on, isn't there? You see, where we get sort of angry and cross or agitated, and it's like we're not aware of the other in this sense being another person. We're not aware of their feelings necessarily, only concentrating on ourselves, only aware of things that are directly related to ourselves, only aware of anything that enhances their own sense of whatever, recognition, importance, their own power, their own connected with them in some way, and anything else kind of just doesn't come into the picture at all. So they're not really aware of the other, the whole focus is on themselves. And we see this with little children, very small children. They're really only can see things from their own point of view. We could be caught up with something and we're just not aware of the other in this sense being the world out there, the world around us. Completely oblivious to most of it, just as we walk through our life, totally focused on our own feelings or our own, what we're thinking, our beliefs and all the rest of it, you see. Not able to sort of bring into the picture the other. So we can see that then we've only got half the picture then if we're not including what's out there. And of course, what's going on in ourselves actually can be the other, can't it? We are aware of what we're thinking, those thoughts being the other. Those feelings being the other, what we're aware of. We are aware of our thoughts. We are aware of what we're feeling to some extent. Or we are aware of what's going on out there. Focused on the other. This is what we do. We are always, more or less, focused on the other. Whether it's the other that's out there or the other that's inside. But what often we're not aware of is ourselves.
Yeah, what we're doing.
No. I think we've got to get a little closer to this, because we're not aware of what we're doing, yes. If we drop down a level, you see, and we think not just of the other as being out there and ourself being what's going on inside, the other side of the sort of the skin membrane, but if we think of all that stuff inside, thinking, that's the other. Feelings, that's the other. See? That pain in our muscle, that's the other. So what is it, what's left? See, what's left if that's all the other? And we're talking about what we consider to be ourself, that's one side, and all this stuff that we say is the other. And we're either focused on that. What's left? Where are we? What is it that we're not conscious of? What are we not? Well, that sense of ourself, not as our thinking or what's going on in our thinking, but that sense of ourself as existence, that sense of ourself as being alive, that which is, if you like, behind, that which is aware. See, thoughts are not aware of themselves, feelings are not aware of themselves, you're aware of those feelings. You can observe those thoughts as they travel through the mind, you see. You detect the pain in your leg. And in the same way, you are aware of the world and other people. So when we consider ourselves, it's that sense of existence. You are aware of your body. You detect your body. You detect movement. The movement doesn't detect itself. Do you follow?
Mm.
So when we get closer to that, you see, when we become aware of our own existence, see, not the thought that's existing, but that very existence that can, if you like, know the thought.
Mm.
When we are kind of resting there, when we are sort of with that, what you find is then everything else is open when we're with that. If we go into a thought and go into thinking mode, the thoughts in our mind will then determine what we're open to or what we're not open to. You follow? It's like if we say, oh, it's this or it's that, we don't like this and we don't like that, it means we're not open to it. If we think, I want to get closer to that, but I don't want to get closer to that, then that thinking will determine how open we are, where our awareness will be focused, or what we're feeling is the same. So you say, you throw yourself in, you grab it, you throw yourself in because you feel if you don't grab it, if you don't get in there quickly, it'll get away. It won't happen. Whether it's the job that won't be finished, or whether it's that other person, they might sort of not take any notice and just move on. You know what I mean? It's almost like you feel that you've got to have your presence there, throwing yourself in and doing it, you see. But when you do that, whenever we do that, we lose that awareness of what's going on. Everything narrows down at that point, see. The other person may be feeling uncomfortable with the way that we're responding. They're reacting or responding in a particular way. And we don't see that. We're not awake to that. We're just awake to the fact that we've got to have them, we've got to kind of hang on to them. Or we've got to find a way to have them like us or get close to us, Then the person sort of rushes off. And then we don't hear what they're saying because we're not listening. But when we are with the awareness itself, not what we are aware of, the other, see, but the awareness itself. Or put it another way, see if we look, the listening. See? Not what we're listening to, which is the other, do you follow? But the listening itself. Not what we're seeing, the other, but the seeing itself. The awareness of our own existence. Not the thinking that we're aware of, or the feelings that we are aware of, but awareness itself. When we're just sort of there with the awareness, then we are, if you like, is another word that we might think of as being, then we're present. See this? And then we're not separating everything out, sort of closing down to the bullseye. It can all just be there. It's all open, and we can see what's there. We've got the whole picture then. See, we're not just focused on that little bit over there, the other being just a small fraction of what's there. We're focused on the awareness, and we're open to all that the awareness is illuminating. This is called mindfulness, you see. So it's like it's being awake to ourself, our own existence. It's a very simple thing, but it seems that it's very, very difficult for us to stay with, or to even pick up on. It's like it's very simple. It's just, but then when we're doing that, just aware of yourself, not what you're thinking. See, if you're in your thinking, if you've got another person in front of you, and you're in your mind thinking, how am I doing this? Is this the right move? Is that the right move? You see, it's like, maybe we don't know. That's putting ourselves in the position of knowing what the right move is, or knowing the other person and what's appropriate and all the rest of it. Actually, we don't have to do any of that. This is a strange thing, because all the real work takes place behind the scenes anyway, even though we think that we're directing it up front. It's not. It's all taking place behind the scenes, and all we need to do, we're allowing the thoughts to come, rather than kind of going searching for them or manipulating them. We're allowing the thoughts to come. We're allowing our feelings to appear. We're allowing ourselves to see what's there. If we're in our mind trying to work it out, what's needed here, okay, with a technical thing that might work. You think, well, no, I've got to do that first. Let me let go of that, and like you were saying, with the analysis of the situation or the process. But where it's people and where it's ourself, that just gets in the way. Because when we're focused on our thinking, then that's the other, if you like, that we're attending to, and we've forgotten ourselves. So you can just be present and mindful, and just, you're watching awareness rather than what awareness is illuminating, you see, and then it's all there. This is what mindfulness is. Mindfulness is not where one stops and tries to work it all out, or think what the next move is and try and adjust it consciously. Because whenever we're doing that, then we're focused on our mind. We're not awake to ourselves in that moment. And of course, again, that is what means to be in the moment. You have to be, if you like, awake to your own existence. That's what it is to be in the moment, you see. Being in the moment is not in one's mind with a concept about what is now. Do you follow? It's not. That's not being in the moment. That's being in the mind. See? And that often happens. That's the difficulty. When we take things and we interpret them, we can be thinking about our existence and what that might mean, conceptually. Working with that, trying to, we're being with our concept, we're being with our mind, rather than the direct awareness of that sense of aliveness, of existence. And you can't really actually even think about it. Your mind can't structure itself in a way to be able to absorb that. You talk around it in terms of concepts, and of course the great wisdom books might talk about it. Modern science and psychology tries to talk about what consciousness is. Give it a word. But that doesn't touch it, that doesn't take us outside our mind. But we can directly, if you like, be awake to that which lives, which exists. In Buddhism, the Buddha is seen as not, you see these icons, these big golden statues and that. You see the Buddha sitting there in meditation. People think of the Buddha as being some sort of historical character that lived 2,500 years ago. But actually, they will tell you, Buddha is the one that knows. And that one that knows is oneself. It's that is that sense of existence, that is knowing the other. That is the one that knows, you see. That, not the mind that thinks, that knows the mind, that watches the mind. When we are awake to that, and this is what the Buddhist practices and all these other forms of meditation, that is, and other sort of essence of religion, really. The essence of religion is right there. It's like in that cannot really be talked about, but you can gradually wake up to. So it's been quiet at times, you see. And we're so busy, we're racing in our mind, or we're racing around physically. We're all doing it, aren't we? But it's being quiet, letting things settle, being with stillness. Because it's only then that you can really begin to see or experience that sense of existence, that sense of being, one's own presence. As long as one is in thought busy, or we're racing around doing, caught up with everything, we lose it, we forget. It's like like you say, we're focused on the other, trying to get, and they've forgotten themselves. It's a big thing at the moment, has been for a while, this whole thing about mindfulness. It's making its way into schools and even into Parliament. You know what I mean? It's like there's talk, this idea of being mindful. It finds its way into psychological therapies, but much of it's misunderstood.